Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over an automation that's perfect for recruiters or anyone trying to find hiring managers for a role. So what this does is it finds jobs that were posted in the last 2 days or 3 days in a certain niche, so like fintech or any sort of job, and then it finds the actual hiring manager of that company, and then it finds their email, and then you can kind of put into a lead sheet or a CRM and then do outreach to them. So this is perfect if you're a recruitment agency or if you just want to get hired for a job. This can find a bunch of leads really effectively. Decision maker leads as well, so it's going to be like the hiring manager's email and stuff like that. So you're going to get really good reply rates with this. And yeah, without further ado, I'll jump in. This follows along from my last video. So if you haven't watched my last video on the LinkedIn scraping, I'd watch that first because a lot of this just builds off this. So yeah. Okay, so here we are. This is the combined LinkedIn scraper, but for the recruitment agency side. So if you watched my last video, you would have seen this kind of top row here. Everything below that is all the new kind of stuff. So this stuff I won't be going over in extreme depth because I've already talked about it, and a lot of it's not really used, to be honest. Like some of it is, but not to that extent. A lot of it is just this part here. So I will go over the start because that obviously comes into it, but everything below here I will go into more in depth into, and then up here after the loop finishes here, I won't really explain much, but all you got to know is it's just getting more leads which get sent into the loop. So it's getting more and more job postings in this scenario. So I will go into that in more detail, but yeah, anyways, I will run just down here so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. I don't want to run too much because this takes away from my Hunter credits. You guys can do this with an email finder or guesser like I made in the last video. So if you want to save money, you can make one of those email guesses that I made in the last video, which you can copy. Otherwise, you can just use Hunter. I'm using Hunter for this because it just saves time, and this flow would be probably crashing my whole computer. So I thought I would just make it like this. Here we go. So this is an example of what it would be like. So we get a couple of emails here. So this was a 70. Let me see which ones are actually. So 3 emails were found and only 2 were kept that were valid. So I'll show the ones that were valid. So the restrictions I put on here were if the score is greater than 90 and the verification is valid. So this one was 96, yep, and this one was 96 as well. So yeah, they're all from the same company because that's how this flow works. I will explain that more in a sec, but yeah. Anyways, and then we create an icebreaker here. So hey, their name. Notice you open up new roles in fintech, figure I might be able to help. So you could do this with AI by creating a really in-depth icebreaker, but I think that we've already used a lot of API credits and a lot of credits in this flow, so I think I was trying to just save a bit of money here and just write like a kind of a set query that still has some personalization with the name and the niche and stuff like that. So you guys can obviously do that more in depth, and then afterwards you can add an instantly add to campaign module, which is what I would probably be doing, but obviously this is an example video, so I'm not actually adding any leads into my campaign today. But if I was using this for a client, or if I was just doing this for myself, if I was a recruiting agency myself, I would add a instantly node and then add all the leads into the campaign with the icebreaker straight when that ends, and then I'll just loop it back into here. So basically I will go from the start and explain everything that happens in this. Let's just save that to make sure nothing goes wrong. So if you watched the last video, you'll know all this already, but how it works. This top thing, I actually didn't make this myself. I found it from another YouTuber who I gave props to in the last video because it's quite a good system. It just scrapes LinkedIn, but the last video I was scraping LinkedIn people, but in this you'll see how I do it differently and how it relates to recruitment. So firstly, you want to do a schedule. So that's just basically when you hit execute and every hour. You guys probably know about that. And then you want to get rows. So again, like last video, you want to set up a Google Sheet that has a bunch of search queries. So I haven't actually really added anything into this, but these are my queries. I've got fintech, Melbourne, and then the status. Is it going to be scraped or not? Is it scraped yet? Yeah, so when this is actually scraped, it would add scrape at the end. But for now, it's nothing because it hasn't been scraped. So we know to get this row first. Yep, so status is empty. So we get the first only matching row. So that's going to be fintech in Melbourne. So that's the row we need. We get that. Then we do a set fields. This is just creating the query. So we do industry, which is fintech. We want to do quotes because that's how LinkedIn can sort of take it easier. Quote into Melbourne as well, and then obviously you guys might be hiring. You guys might be looking for hiring managers in other places or other industries. This is an example. So fintech, Melbourne, and then hiring. So you want to make sure that the business is actually hiring currently, and then you want to add these two as well. The start index is 1 and the max pages is 1. You want to add all these. There we go, done. Okay, so now we have made the query. We want to go and actually do this custom search API. So this is the URL you're going to use. I explained how to set this up in the last video as well, so go check that out. But you're going to need to go on the Google console, sign in, and get your API key. I've removed mine, obviously, so you guys can't copy it, but you're going to have a API key in here. CX, which you have to find through the console as well, which you might need to watch a video on how to do that or ask AI or something, but I explained it last video, I'm pretty sure, but I won't be going over that again. Then this is the query. So this is what you need to actually search. So the site, LinkedIn /jobs. The really important part is jobs. So this searches jobs instead of people. So we are looking for LinkedIn jobs in fintech in Melbourne that are hiring. So that's basically what this query means. So that's really important, obviously. And then now we have starts. This is just making all the pagination check. This is just ensuring that you can actually do more than 10 jobs, because how custom search query works is you have to do 10 in each query, but you can do 100 with each query, if that makes sense. If you like loop it, that's the whole point of this flow. Yeah, anyways, that's what you're gonna need. And then finally, two more. We have date restrict, so this is really important. This is basically going to only get job listings in the last 2 days. You can make this 3, so you could go D3 or D2. However, if you want to do even like a week and get more probably accurate results, because there's going to be more obviously options, you can do that too. But this is really important because we're getting companies that are hiring that are recent, so the chance that they reply is going to be a lot higher. This is kind of what separates this flow from a basic lead scraping flow to an actual really, really effective recruitment flow. So that's really important. And then the number, we have 10, and then filter 1, that just makes sure that you don't get the same companies every time. You want to have, that just make sure there's no duplicates, I believe. And then send headers, everything down here is gonna be the same. So yeah, that's the search query. Obviously you can have the key. That's probably the most important thing. Then we extract the results here. This is just a bunch of Java. I'm gonna scroll through it so you can pause, but yeah, I recommend, if you want to just copy this actual base flow, not this bottom part. This bottom part I will have in the description as well, but if you want to copy this basic LinkedIn flow, go to my last video and watch the guy I put in the description, his YouTube video, where he actually has the link to this template so you guys can just get this for yourself, because I didn't actually make this top part. But yeah, I'll pause it. So I'll go through slow so you can write it all if you want. That's extracting the results, and then this is checking if we already have the lead. So you just have your recruitment agency people sheet, get rows, and then compare data sets. That's all you're gonna have to have for that. This is again just making sure there's no recurring leads, so that you're not getting double ups. Then you want to extract specific details. So this is really important. This is going to get you stuff like first name, what else? First name, business, if it has the business. A lot of the time it doesn't, unfortunately, but we can find that later, so don't worry. It's going to get you like the link, the snippet, all that kind of stuff. I will go through this. Again, I don't know if anyone's writing this from my video, but yeah, if you really want to pause and write all this, you can. But as I said before, this flow is not, as you can see, it's a bit difficult. You might need to actually have access to this template to follow along, but yeah. Now we actually get to the part where we do the kind of lead scraping part. Now we're getting these jobs and we're actually finding the managers. First, you want to set up a loop, because we're going to have to find each and every single one of the businesses and their hiring managers. This is the AI node that we're going to be using. This is going to help us out quite a lot. When this loads, you guys can see what we actually do. You are a company name extraction and domain generation assistant. Your task is to analyze LinkedIn job posting data and extract the company name from available data using these priority rules, first priority, blah, blah, basically getting a bunch of variables and trying to find the company name. And then we want to generate 3 most likely domain variations when a company name is found. So consider the company niche, industry, location, hints. So, .io, .co, .ai, .tech. This prompt is kind of aimed at fintech, but I've tried to make it broad, so when I want to scrape for other hiring companies, but yeah, it's kind of a bit tech focused, unfortunately, but you guys can have just all the sort of broad ones. So this is kind of an example of what you would get. So you get the business name, so that's what it is, and then it finds the 3 most likely domain variations, and from my testing, almost all the time one of these is going to be the correct domain. So because AI kind of could almost go on their website and find a few themselves, so a lot of the time the first row is actually the one that's correct, but sometimes you get like the 3rd or 2nd row that is correct. But yeah, sometimes you don't get any, but most of the time you do. And then you want to make sure that it outputs NA if it can't find the company or domain variation. Yeah, again, you can pause and copy the system prompts. I just got this from AI anyways, so you guys probably get something very similar, but that's what you kind of want to get outputted, something like that. And then the user prompt is basically just adding all the variables. So this is all the things that it could possibly be in the company name. So it could be in the name, it could be in the title, could be in the link, could be in the snippet. So you also think you just want to send all those variables into here, and then it's going to try and find the company. So I've found like 8 out of 10 times the company's probably somewhere in this. So it's quite a good kind of AI agent that helps you here. Again, this is kind of all the same that I said, and then output parser, I've just made it so it knows how to output it. I want to output it as JSON. So there we go. That's the AI kind of agent that we're using here. Now we want to do an if node. If the company is not NA, we continue. So basically it's making sure that we actually get leads. We want to edit the field. This I believe, yes, this actually creates our next custom search query, which is where we actually find the hiring manager of the company that's hiring. So we get the company name from the job posting, and then now we actually do another custom search where, I've gone to a step too far. We get the company name, and then we do site linkedin.com/in. So this actually gets persons, not job listings. We then do talent acquisition or recruiter or hiring manager or head of talent. So we want to do as many as possible, just in case, because a lot of businesses have different names for these kind of hiring managers roles. So we want to make sure we hit everything. That's going to give you the query you want. And then for the custom search query, again, my key's missing because I don't want you guys using it, but yeah, you want to do CSX, the query, which we just made, and then num10, so it just gives you 10 results. I think you'd probably get 10 anyways, but yeah, this is everything you need. You don't need as much stuff as the job posting one. Then you want to extract the data and make it. What I found is you just get, with this, you just get a massive array of 10 decision makers, I guess. I'll probably be able to find it here. This is kind of what it looks like. It's just one massive array. That's really messy. You're not gonna be able to find that and use and be able to loop that for each lead and get each email and stuff. So this JavaScript will just split it into 10 different boxes, or it might not be 10, might be like whatever, as many as you got. That will split it all into boxes with all the things you need. So you actually get their first name and their last name, because we actually, funnily enough, we actually are able to get their first name and last name, which is really, really important. We get it from, where was it? I found it before. It's from a weird variable that's kind of hidden away. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. So it actually has profile last name and then profile first name. So we can actually get their first name and last name, which is really, really good, because it's how we're going to do a lot of the pattern matching with Hunter. So yeah, we want to make sure we get all these details into a nice table, so we have everything ready to use when we want to make icebreakers and do domain guessing, etc. So that's really important. And then we want to filter. So this is just going to filter out everything. So I'll explain it a bit better. What's going to happen when we do this search is we're going to get 10 decision makers, and not all of them are actually going to be the decision makers that were from that company that's looking for work. So we want to be able to filter out all of the decision makers that don't actually match that company that was searching. So this company contains the company that we got from AI. So we want to get all these variables that we extracted from the code, and we want to put them in to a filter, and then we want to make sure it contains the actual business name from the AI search we did. We want to make sure we do or, because it could be in any of these either links or snippets or titles. We just want to make sure that the talent, the hiring manager is actually a hiring manager for the company that's looking for work, and not just some other random one that maybe it was in like the 10th place or the 8th place or something. Because obviously if you're getting 10 results, not all of them are going to be the hiring manager, because not a lot of companies have 10 hiring managers. But you might sometimes get, some of them you actually get a few. So this one, there was actually 2 from the same company. So there's not always just one. That one was 2, and then this one didn't have any. So sometimes you're not going to find any. And then this one actually had 10. So this one has 10 kind of talent acquisitions in the same company. So that's quite weird actually. But yeah, that's why I say you have to do this, because you want to make sure you're actually getting accurate leads that are actually inside that company. So this is really, really crucial. You want to make sure, and you want to make sure you ignore cases, because not all the time there's going to be capitals and stuff like that. So this is really important to ensure you get the most accurate information. You could also probably filter this with AI, but yeah, I think it's just best doing it like this. Now we want to do an if statement. This basically, if this filter, because what happens is this filter must actually, for this to continue, this filter must output data. And as I showed you before here, which one was it? Here, oh no, which, here. So this one, there was no hiring managers in that company. It was all outside that company. So we have to make sure we output data, but it's actually not going to be a variable that we can use. So this if statement basically just says, if the title exists, so that one doesn't exist, the one I showed you, because there was actually nothing in this variable. So this one would get discarded because we want it to, only titles that exist are kept. So that means that one of these leads would just go back to the loop and then it would start the process again. Does that make sense? I hope so, but yeah. Now we want to do a limit for one. So this is where we start actually getting emails and doing DNS scans on the domains. So this just basically limits it. So we're only doing a DNS scan on the domain once, because a lot of the time we're going to have like, I don't know, 8 to 10 leads coming through here, and we don't want to do 8 to 10 DNS checks on the exact same domain. So we're just going to limit this to one. So it gets the first domain, because all these, you got to remember, all these leads are from the same business, because we keep looping this for each business. So we want to make sure we limit it and just get one domain. Well, we want to make sure we get the 3 domains, but we only test it. We only test the 3 domains once each. So we don't want to be doing like 8 times, because it's just unnecessary and it's going to ruin the rest of this flow. So we make sure this limits 1. Yeah. Then we do HTTP requests. This is the DNS checking. So my last video explained this, but this is actually a free thing you can do with Google, where you put the DNS check. This is the first one out of the 3. So remember how AI generated 3 of them. This is the first one, and you want to do this exact same URL. So don't worry about APIs or anything. This doesn't need an API. You can just do this. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just do this inside of n8n. Just copy this exact thing. Obviously put your domain in, but this is the first domain out of 3. So this one actually was correct, I believe, but we have to extract all the information first. So we do a code in Java, and that gets all of this data, because this data is a bit raw. You can't actually tell exactly if it's correct yet. We then extract everything. You guys again can copy all this, and then we get the data in a bit more clear, boxed. So yeah, valid, status is valid, answer count 1, so we want to see. Yeah, so this domain is actually valid, it's a real domain. That means if it's true, it goes to here, and then we put it into Hunter and we pick an email finder. So you could do domain search, email verify, but we're doing email finder. Then we get the domain, so the one that was actually working. We chuck the first name in. This was from the custom search query. Last name, and then it finds an email. This one is a score of 75, so we probably will discard this one because it's still a bit risky. And it's accept all, so usually accept alls are kind of a bit risky. You guys really need to know what's correct and what's wrong to avoid bounces. But yeah, I showed you the filter before. We filter out if the score's below 90, it just gets discarded, and if it's not valid, obviously it gets discarded. And then if all that's true, we create the icebreaker. Again, this is not AI. You can do an AI icebreaker, and it's going to give you probably better results, but I thought no point for this video. I'm just going to show you how to do a set query one that works just as well, or a little bit worse, obviously, because it's not super personalized. But Yeah. Now this bottom row, it just keeps doing DNS scans. So this one, I'm not sure why it's showing, it's because I didn't actually use this row at all, it just did the top row. But this does the second domain search. So if this top one wasn't actually a correct domain, then it goes down here. This gets the second one that DeepSeek or whatever AI module you used. This gets the second domain, tests it as well. All these steps are the exact same. So we do another sort of extraction with Java. We get the correct results, and then we do the same exact filter. If it's false, we go back down here, and then we finally do the third DNS check. I'm not going to go through it, we already showed you up here, but yeah, all these results are the same. And then we loop everything back into the loop over items. Now, when every single lead is found, or every company, we then just connect everything back to the flow, and then we do the pagination check, and then it just repeats another 10 times. We get 100 different job searches, and then however many leads that's going to be as well. I don't really remember. I think it's, 10 per job or something like that. So you're getting 100 plus hiring managers with this flow if you just run it once, which is really, really crazy and really powerful. And I'm pretty sure it's free, or it costs a very small amount with Google Custom Query. I don't know the exact daily costs if you run this, because this is kind of powerful because you're doing 2 custom searches in one flow. We're actually doing 3 because you have to keep doing it for every single query. But yeah, I don't know the exact cost, but it's very, very cheap compared to doing this with like Apollo, or I'm not even sure how you can actually do this without what this flow is, because we're getting job postings from sooner than 2 days. So this is quite a perfect kind of automation for recruiters. Does majority of their job for them, and this is why it's super powerful. This stuff up here is just adding the leads into a Google Sheet, and then the pagination check again. This was all in my last video, and you guys can just copy this anyways from the guy's video that I posted in the last one. So I'm not going to go through all this top stuff. It's just getting the right pagination, getting the right search query, then checking if it's duplicates, blah blah blah, adding leads into sheets. But yeah, that's the whole basis of the actual lead finding. I hope you learned something from this video and you can take it on board, or maybe you're a recruitment agency yourself and you want to find a new way to kind of get hiring manager leads. If you guys want me to set this up for you, I'd be happy to do that for you. My email is in the description, so you guys can just come and email me, and I can come over and look at your business and see how this could work for you. Again, I'll probably have this template in the description below, so you guys can just go and download this whole thing for yourself and use it. Obviously you guys probably have to change some of it. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but yeah, you've watched this video, so I'm sure you guys know what to add and what not to add, and where to put your own API keys and things like that. But yeah, hope this video was helpful. I know it's a bit complicated, this flow. I hope I was clear enough and you guys got the gist of how it works. But yeah, this is seriously a powerful kind of automation that I kind of just came up with on myself, to be honest. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know if you have any questions. I know this is a bit of a complicated build, and I don't know if I explained everything very, very well, but I think if you watch last video and this video and you take the templates from the last video and then bring them into this, you can probably follow along and do this quite easily. Again, I will have the link in the description for this new recruitment agency build, so you can just take it and use it for yourself. But yeah, let me know if you have any other videos you want to see, or any sort of builds that I can try out and post, so you guys can get some more information. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.